I am excited to introduce our two hosts today. So we have Tommy Rosenkrantz. He is the VP of Product over at Him is Rowan Witt. He is the implementation lead here at Forethought. And together they implemented Forethought within the Constrafor platform. And they're going to tell you more about that story. Myself, I am our Director of Product Marketing here at Forethought. Again, moderator, you will stop hearing from me shortly. But to kick things off, I just wanted to start with who Forethought is, what we do, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Constrafor. So guys, if you guys want to join me on stage, I just wanted to kind of start with Forethought for those of you who Forethought might be new. And I want to start with our vision, and this is what guides us here at Forethought. So our vision is that we offer AI agents that are enterprise ready and designed for every customer moment. And to put some more meaning behind what that is we're talking about enterprise ready AI agents. We want agents that are reliable in production. They meet your strict compliance needs and give you full control. It also means that our AI works across every customer moment. And for us, when we talk about customer moments, our core use case is customer support and helping with customer inquiries. But we are also here to help anytime you have a customer who is asking for information from your company. You'll learn more about that as we explore more about our partnership with Constrafor. But we go beyond just a CX use case. We can help you qualify leads. We can help you enable customers. We can help you achieve more of your business goals with Forethought. So with that preamble, I'm going to pass it over to Rowan. He's going to share more about our platform, and then Tommy will take the stage to tell you more about Constrafor.
Okay. So there's a couple different kind of components to talk about. So essentially, this is how our multi-agent system supports every step of the customer journey. This all starts with Discover, which identifies top issues, spots content gaps, automatically generates help articles and autoflows. Then we have Solve, which then uses those autoflows to resolve customer inquiries across all channels, no human required. Then Triage intelligently routes anything unresolved to the right agent at the right time. Then Assist acts as an AI co-pilot, surfacing the most relevant content and workflows to help agents respond faster. Then we have Agent QA, which automatically evaluates support interactions to identify coaching opportunities and ensure quality at scale. Then, most importantly, it all goes back into Discover for continuous learning and improvement, creating a single AI for CX platform that improves based on data and conversations. And don't just take our word for it. The world's best companies consistently choose Forethought.
My name's Tommy. I run the product and design team at Constrafor. I'm very excited to walk through how we partnered with Forethought to build a conversational AI layer inside our agent products. So to start with a quick overview of who we are, Constrafor is a SaaS and fintech platform serving both sides of the construction ecosystem. We work with the largest general contractors in the country, and over a third of all commercial-grade subcontractors have joined our platform. That scale gives us a unique view into how money and information move through projects. So our product suite has three main pillars. First is our GC procurement platform, which is an end-to-end system general contractors use to manage their subs. So that includes pre-qualification, insurance compliance, invoicing, and more. The rest of our products are focused on subcontractors, and everything we build is centered around optimizing their cash flow. We have our early pay program, which is a growth financing solution that helps subs get paid faster to keep projects moving. And then there's Crew, which is our AI-powered financial intelligence platform, which is where we're going to spend our time today. So we can go to the next slide. So for subcontractors, most friction sits in the financial back office, even though it is often overlooked in favor of field operations. Cash flow is unpredictable, making it hard to understand their true position across jobs. Materials bills come in with little clarity on whether prices are fair. Bookkeeping drains hours as they reconcile transactions. And insurance requires nonstop follow-ups just to stay compliant and receive payments. These are just a few of the workflows that drain time from builders who just want to focus on building. So what we consistently hear is that subs don't need more software to click through. They need end-to-end solutions that actually take care of these jobs off their plate. And that's the foundation for Crew. So just a very high level overview of Crew, and then we'll get into the use case for Forethought. What makes Crew different is that it's not just another dashboard or analytics container. It's an orchestration of AI agents that each handle specific financial and operational tasks a subcontractor would normally do manually. So one agent extracts receivables and helps collect on overdue invoices. Another one we have monitors cash flow and recommends project capacity. Another keeps track of insurance compliance and chases down brokers for you. Crew coordinates all these agents behind the scenes. The user doesn't interact with each agent individually, nor need to upload any data themselves. They simply have to ask a question, and Crew assembles the right answer instantly. So it's condensing very complex financial workflow into a straightforward conversational experience. You can go to the next slide. So if you zoom out beyond construction, the broader challenge is something almost every organization deals with. Teams have plenty of data, but the problem is that the insights they need are locked behind lots of unstructured data sources that often live in different systems. So the question they're trying to answer is usually very simple, but the difficulty is in getting the answer quickly, especially if they're on the go, like subcontractors tend to be, or lack fluency outside of their core function. We can go to the next slide. So given that reality, we reframed the problem. Instead of building more dashboards, what would it look like if people could simply ask for what they need? That led us to the idea of a more conversational work layer, an interface where you can ask a question in plain language and get back an answer that's accurate, that's contextual, and that's actionable. Now, to make that work, you need strong underlying infrastructure for agent orchestration and retrieval and conversational intelligence. And that's where Forethought really comes into play. They build the scaffolding, the orchestration, the chat infrastructure. That's not Constrafor's secret sauce. Our secret sauce is the construction-specific intelligence, understanding subcontractor-specific workflows deeply, knowing what financial signals matter, and what real project risk looks like. Forethought provides more of the engine and the support to make that possible.
And blending into that, we were able to work with Constrafor directly, build to their specification, and through a shared Slack channel, kind of iterate back and forth to make sure we build something that does exactly what we want it to. And broadly, there's a couple things that we do well, and importantly, it's understanding kind of all the different ways that a user might ask a kind of question, not having to make these brittle kind of channels to describe certain possible paths of a conversation and try to boil the ocean in that way. Remember the context from previous queries in a running conversation or even a long running conversation. We see some conversations run for many hours cumulative. And securely interacting with internal data sources, which is critical in this use case with Constrafor's excellent data. What made Forethought unique for Constrafor is the fact that we're able to just directly plug into their APIs without any custom build out or additional required kind of slow changes. We can quickly adapt and deploy changes if we do need to make them within the actual product. And we essentially are the provider of agentic AI that reasons and takes action.
All right. Well, with that, let's show you what we've been talking about in action. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So what you see here is a crew portal, which outlines and really centralizes all the financial information for a given subcontractor. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the agents we have and all the capabilities. Let's focus on the agent that we built in conjunction with Forethought, which is our materials agent. I alluded a bit to this earlier, but essentially what we're doing here is, as a subcontractor, I've hooked up my email. Every single time I get an email, our AI systems are ingesting relevant content and summarizing that materials related data for me in a very straightforward and simple to understand tab here. However, this is still classic Web 2.0. I have a table here. I have toggles. I have to filter through it. It's very useful, and there's some capabilities I'll show you, but let's really focus on the conversational element here. So to give some context for the conversation, there's typically two problems as a subcontractor focusing on materials that I want to solve. One is understanding where I'm being overcharged. So if I've been quoted a price versus billed, I want to make sure that I'm being billed fairly. The other is understanding general price trends so that I can negotiate what is typically one of the biggest line items. So now let's open up the conversational interface here. And as Rowan mentioned, Forethought here in a headless fashion is basically fed into all of our crew process data. And what you see here is a summary of all of my different projects. So now let me simulate what a typical customer uses our conversational interface for. So here are some of the projects, and Willow Creek seems to be one of the projects I've spent the most on. I'm going to ask, what are the top 5 materials I've spent the most on for the Willow Creek Community Center project? Now, this is something I could manipulate in this spreadsheet or pull up in Excel and spend 20 minutes trying to understand, or I can just get a quick answer here that is comprehensible. And it looks like the ceiling fan is a material that I unexpectedly am spending more on than I had anticipated. Now, subcontractors tend to work with different suppliers, so there's a competitive element here, and I might ask, okay, wow, I'm surprised how much I'm spending on ceiling fans. Which vendor is giving me the best rates for ceiling fans? So now it's doing a lot of aggregations. Rowan can speak more to this, and it's identified, let's see here. Okay, interesting. So there's 3 vendors that I've purchased ceiling fans from, and the unit rates vary somewhat significantly. And it looks like this Garner Pro Grade Materials is providing the best unit rate, and for a pretty comparable amount of units as one of the other vendors. So now I want to see, okay, how much would I save if I purchased all ceiling fans from the best priced vendor here, Garner Pro Grade Materials? Again, I could do this myself, but this is a simple aggregation that is going to propel this conversation forward. Great, there's clearly some estimated savings here. Now here's where I can combine some of the other insights. I see this is our bill versus quote view. And if I filter to overcharged, by the way, I could do this through chat, but I'm just showing the whole experience. here is a visual of how a unit price versus a quoted cost differs. So I'm actually being charged more than I expected. Given this, for the sake of this conversation, why don't I go to the Willow Creek project, and why don't I now take this to its completion to help me finish the job here, which is to actually negotiate my next bulk purchase. And so I'm going to say something like this. Okay, great. Help me now draft an email to Garner Pro, grade materials, to negotiate my next bulk purchase of ceiling fans. Please reference the helpful competitive insights surfaced here. And also, please note to them that I am being overcharged on some key materials that I'd like to revisit. It's going to help me draft an email, and I'm not going to show this in this demo, but because Crew is hooked up with the underlying email, we actually can fully complete the job to be done here, and Crew, facilitated by Forethought, can contact the supplier on behalf of the sub, of course, with their consent and review. And once they have approved this behavior, we can begin to have the agent work autonomously to run through a similar workflow again and again. Rowan, is there anything you want to add here?
So this is kind of just the beginning. There's kind of a whole stage of or progression of touch points with a customer lifecycle, and so this is kind of the informational side. There's more to be done in terms of integrating into those other stages. But yeah, this is an awesome
Great. I'm going to stop sharing. All right. Perfect. So let's get back to the summary. Let me make sure I'm not unmuted. Great. Okay, so to summarize the impact of what you just saw, since launching this conversational layer, the impact has been quite immediate. Questions that take minutes or even hours for our subcontractor clients to typically undergo, often requiring the help of a specialist like an estimator to aggregate those total expenses, or a procurement analyst to look at competitive rates. That comes back instantly. And our customers love it because often the user is not a specialist in that domain, so they're talking in natural language, and it's much more fluent to them. And the real unlock for Constrafor internally, which is not something I've addressed yet, is it's really our focus and our resourcing focus. So by partnering with Forethought, we're not spending our R&D energy building and maintaining all of the industry agnostic conversational infrastructure that's required to produce a result like you just saw. So, retrieval pipelines, intent routing, all the guardrails to make sure that responses are sanitized, non-discriminatory, et cetera. All these things that have nothing to do with construction, that is where we look to Forethought for the help and the support of experts like Rowan here. And we can concentrate on what actually differentiates us, what our secret sauce is, which again is really understanding subcontractor needs, and more internally building agents that can process subcontractor data. That is where we've seen so much leverage from this partnership, and happy to answer any questions.